The New England Patriots look like the number one seed in the AFC. They just haven't beaten very many people, and that might bite them in the playoffs.
The barbershop is open and Tony Wiggins has a chair for you. He's ready with some real NFL talk. The local experts of Locked On bring their expertise, and Wiggy is ready with his clippers and shears. Sit down and enjoy. The new Locked On NFL starts now. Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
I'm Tony Wiggins, the host of the Barbershop here on Locked On NFL, a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is the number one sports podcast network. And we thank you for making us your first listen and appreciate you joining us, as you always do here twice a day on Locked On NFL. David Harrison is, of course, the co-host with me today on Wednesday. I'm going to take you through all of the stuff that we're going to talk about here in just a second, but I got to let you know that we appreciate you joining us wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you tap into that location, whether you watch or listen, so you don't miss an episode like the one I hope you're watching or listening to right now that is sponsored by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Here's what we're going to go through here on Christmas Eve to give you guys some goodness to be thinking about. At the end of the show, we're going to find out where the Ravens go because they are lost in the sauce right now. Can the Rams win without Devontae Adams is something that we'll talk about in the middle of the show. We're going to start off talking about the Patriots, the New England Patriots. They won all of these games now. They're 13-2. The issue with them is they've only beaten two teams above 500. Games are hard to win in the National Football League, David. It should not really matter, but it does. We're going to make it matter here. I don't know if they can get into the playoffs and have to face the gauntlet week after week after week, just out of the sheer thought that they're not used to playing hard teams week after week after week.
Yeah, I mean, look, it doesn't matter in the sense that you can't ask the New England Patriots to apologize for winning 12 games against a weak schedule because the Patriots don't, like, this isn't college football, right? They didn't book their schedule on their own. They didn't put App State in week one and then come out and say, look at us, we're going to be great because we beat App State. Like, the Pats don't create the schedule that they go down. So the fact that they have the easiest strength of schedule based on win-loss totals this season, like literally of every team in the National Football League, the Patriots have the easiest schedule that they've played, and they finished with the Dolphins and Jets. So it's not like they're getting a lot harder here to end the season. You can't ask the Patriots to apologize for that. So it should not be used as a ding against New England. However, when we sit here like we're supposed to do and we analyze who's a real threat in the postseason, who's a pretender in the postseason, it's hard to put the Patriots in that real threat postseason category. And I know what Pats fans are going to say. They're going to say they beat the Buffalo Bills early in the season and they're even better team now. Yeah, the problem is the Buffalo Bills are a better team now and they beat the Patriots later in the season. Now, I know in that game the Pats had a really big lead, but look, just like we're not going to blame the Patriots for their schedule, we are going to blame the Patriots for taking their foot off the gas against the Buffalo Bills because it looks like maybe you're believing your own hype just a little bit. That's a Mike Vrabel problem. If he can get that fixed, obviously anything can happen, but I think the fact that they're not as battle tested as you would want to be going into the postseason could matter once we get into some of those heavyweight bouts. Wig, you know, the old saying is iron sharpens iron. And if there is a problem here, it's that the Patriots' iron has been sharpened against aluminum this entire regular season.
Yeah, I like the way you said it. I'm looking at the Jaguars. They lost 4 games. They had no business losing to the Bengals early in the year, and they should have beat them. It was a bad call at the end of the game, and I'll hold on to that one until the day I die. But they split with Houston, so one of their losses is against Houston. One's against Seattle, who we'll talk about in a minute. The other was against the Rams. So that's 3 out of 4. And then when you turn it around, they beat the Chargers, they beat the Broncos, and they beat the 49ers. Mm-hmm. And, you know, of course, they split with Houston, so they beat Houston. Those are battle-tested teams and teams that people think can really get it done. But listen to Nick Cattles talk about what Drake May did just the other day.
I thought Drake May's fourth quarter was spectacular. Spectacular. But he was even better than I thought, even better than I think most of you thought. Greg Bedard wrote about Drake May's fourth quarter at Boston Sports Journal. Here's what Greg wrote. Drake May was 12 of 14 for 139 yards and a touchdown with a 139.8 passer rating. Now, it's pretty amazing that the 2 incompletions that we're talking about in that fourth quarter were, number one, a throwaway, and number two, the play where Kayshon Boutte was tackled and somehow, some way, a flag was not thrown. Those were the only 2 incompletions that Drake May threw in the fourth quarter.
He's been super, super impressive. It's just going to get more difficult in the playoffs. His offensive coordinator obviously knows how to calm him down. Josh McDaniels has been through a few games. And Mike Vrabel coaches in a way that kind of gives this team confidence, I believe, in any situation.
Yeah, and that's where that's where the rubber's gonna meet the road here. Is Mike Vrabel obviously is the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Not a lot of big time football being played out there, but he's played in a lot of big time games. Josh McDaniel has coached in a lot of big time games. So this is going to be one of those situations where we always talk about coaches mattering. The coaches for the New England Patriots are going to matter more this offseason for their group than arguably any other group. And that includes the Seattle Seahawks, who are in their second year under Mike McDonald and kind of a rebuild, revamped team compared to what he inherited. And I think it's going to be because of those young players. Drake May has always had the clutch gene, right? Like that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. You watch him at North Carolina, he always had the ability to rise up to the moment and things like that. Sure, he had some issues. Sure, he had some flaws. Every young quarterback is going to, but there's no doubt about his ability to stand up in the big moments. This is a different kind of a big moment for him. So especially that first time they hit adversity, I don't know what their schedule is going to look like in the postseason, but if they hit the wild card round and run away with a game, okay, cool. Like that's a good experience, but is it really that one? We go in the divisional round and you go down by 10 and you've thrown an interception. Like that's when Mike Vrabel's experience, Josh McDaniels' experience is going to come in key, because not only are you communicating to your young players, but you're communicating to them from a place of experience. You've been here before, and those players need to just be able to open those ears, flush out all the thoughts, just take in those veteran coach words, and then turn that into production.
No doubt about it. You mentioned the Seattle Seahawks. They won a very critical game against the Rams the other day. Listen to Corbin Smith from Locked On Seahawks talk about that game.
Seattle moves into first place in the NFC and the NFC West. Darnold had 2 bad interceptions early in the second half, and at that point, the Rams looked to be running away with this one, to the point that players said that Rams players were laughing about the big lead that they had. The Seahawks made him pay, though. A bizarre lateral play that Zach Charbonnet ended up recovering in the end zone to tie the football game after a review. Might not see that again anytime soon, but the Seahawks took advantage of all those breaks to get back into the football game. And even after the Rams took a 37-30 lead in overtime on a deep ball to Puka Nacua, Sam Darnold struck back 4 straight completions to drive Seattle down the field, including to JSN, Smith and Jigba getting the touchdown before Saubert's 2-point conversion, and Seattle fans go crazy. A state of euphoria in Lumen Field with this massive, stunning overtime win.
Good game by Seattle. Sam Darnold probably answers a few questions about those huge, big games that have ramifications, because he kind of blew it last year, stepped up to the plate this year. We're going to get to the Rams in a minute, but Mike McDonald, he's one of the reasons the Ravens are sucking right now, to be honest with you. At some point, you keep losing coaches over and over again. I think he needs some serious. I know Mike Vrabel and, of course, Liam Cohen and all of Ben Johnson. I think Mike McDonald needs to be the coach of the year in the NFL.
I mean, Mike McDonald has definitely got to be a front runner, right? Nobody's talking about Sam Darnold as an MVP. Nobody's talking about any player on their team being rookie of the year, defensive player of the year. So if he ain't got none of those players, then that means he should be coach of the year, right? Like that's one of the things. Like, you've never had the MVP and the coach of the year come from the same team. So if the Seahawks don't have any of those other big award candidates, then that means their coach is making a whole lot of chicken salad out of chicken other things. And that's not an insult to the roster. I'm just using an analogy here. I will tell you this, though. I hesitate to crown Sam Darnold too much for that performance. I love the bounce back, brother. I love the resiliency. And maybe this is some Jameis Winston PTSD coming from my times covering the Buccaneers wig. I hesitate to praise a quarterback for digging his team or helping to dig his team out of a hole that he damn dug himself. Yeah. I would much rather praise Kenneth Walker for his 100 yards on 11 carries, including a 55-yarder. Like, I would rather praise him for helping dig them out of that hole, because that, to me, is much more of a standout individual performance that the Seahawks are going to be able to leverage in the playoffs. Because if Sam Darnold shows up again the way he has in the past and throws those 2 picks in the divisional round, maybe Kenneth Walker can help dig them out.
No doubt about it. We're going to hit the team that they beat and the ones that we're going to talk about with the Rams. Can they win without Devontae and with all of the goofy stuff that's going on right now with them? We'll talk about it in just a second here on Locked On NFL. All right, today's show is sponsored and brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. The holiday season is one of the best time for sports. Bowl games, big basketball matchup, playoff pushes. Of course, the NFL, while you're stuffing your stomach full of food on Christmas Day. It's all happening at once. And while we're all making choices every day, one of the fun places to make the right call is Prize Picks. You know why? Because it ends up with you getting money put right in your pocket. It is the easiest way to get in on daily fantasy. Just pick more or less on at least 2-player projections, lock in your lineup, and you're in the game. It's simple, fast, and available in 45 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. You can choose from a huge range of unique stats, fantasy scores, field goal attempts, the throws made, turnovers, whatever fits your strategy, man. It's right there for the taking. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, man, we moving along with my co-host, my brother from another mother, my man David Harrison. We're going to talk about the Rams, man. Look, the Rams went out and got Devontae Adams, and he's the number one who's the number two. He's like the best number two receiver you probably ever seen in your life, because at one point this year, he had like a touchdown in every game. I think the streak was broken like last week. He was all of these games with touchdowns, big catches. He's always open. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer with a bullet, in my opinion. Hopefully he can rein Puka Nacua in a little bit and they can just stop all the goofy stuff. You just heard from Corbin Smith, who said when the Rams had a big lead against Seattle, they absolutely were out there talking smack and laughing. And I know they're always talking smack and laughing, but I just don't remember those things going on when they had the leadership of a guy like Aaron Donald, who would probably go over there and karate kick somebody and tell them to shut up and keep playing. And they ought to know that you need to keep playing, because they almost won last year in the NFC Championship game and lost because they couldn't make plays at the end of the game. Yep. So they did, however, make a change in the coaching staff. Some people thought it was long overdue. They fired their special teams coordinator, Chase Blackburn. Here's the guys from Locked On Rams to talk about that.
It was a firing that we've been talking about all year, and that is special teams coordinator Chase Blackburn. His time with the Rams ends after 2+ seasons with the team. It's the first time in Sean McVay's career that he's fired an assistant coach during the season, and that is extremely telling. For Sean McVay, someone who is about cohesion and chemistry and consistency and no drama, no rash decisions, not jumping the gun on things, for him to say enough is enough and to make Chase Blackburn fall on the sword and be the scapegoat, that tells you that he was extremely unhappy with the special teams operation.
Now wait, that's my boy, but I'm gonna have to correct him. If he should have got fired, he wasn't a scapegoat.
Right.
Scapegoat's kind of when you blame somebody for something that's really not their fault just to satisfy other people. It sounds like Chase Blackburn should have been gone, and I'm gonna give Sean McVay credit for doing it. But I also gotta say that you're right there with him every day. You didn't know it. You didn't see it before. Everybody else saw it. You didn't see it, and it cost you some games.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, the Rams season is going well enough. There's no scapegoats out here, but I do think that they have a leadership issue. You know what I mean? They have a leadership issue, and they really shouldn't have that leadership issue because, like you said, man, like especially a divisional game. Like, every player you ever talk to in the NFL will tell you anything can happen in a divisional game, and so you have to be on your toes. And every player will tell you it's 60 minutes, it's 4 quarters. Like, you can't be dancing and celebrating 75% of the way, done. I mean, you go back to like Kobe when he's asked, hey, are you happy? Are you satisfied with the job that you did? And he goes, job finished? Like, no, like, what's there to be happy about? Job's not finished. Like, nobody has ever won the Super Bowl in the third quarter. Nobody's ever won the Super Bowl before the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter. Like, you might have it put away. Okay. But you got to finish the job, right? Like, And I know that there's an Eagles fan out there somewhere laughing at me because Nick Sirianni used that as an excuse to go for 2, and I called him full of excrement. But the bottom line is, if you are in this matchup, especially in the second, third quarter,
I ain't never heard you use no word like the excrement.
Yeah, I would usually not use that word.
Say some other stuff. I ain't never heard that word before. Excrement. I gotta look that one up anyway. Go ahead, David.
But you know what I mean? Like there's too many veterans on that team, man. Matthew Stafford, obviously comes out as kind of the main one. Like, you got to knock that stuff off. You can't be doing that stuff. The good news is, as much as you can't win the Super Bowl in December, you can't lose the Super Bowl in December. So for the Los Angeles Rams, it's a lesson they're going to be allowed to come back and learn from. And I'm confident that they will learn from it because Sean McVay has been doing this for a minute. Matt Stafford has been doing this for a minute. And you know what? The next time some dudes are starting to feel good about themselves on the sideline, halfway, midway, whatever it is through the game, one of those veterans speaks up, there's going to be a case study. It's going to be like, hey, dude, remember what happened when we did this against Seattle? Like, lock in. Don't be celebrating nothing. Don't pop no corks till midnight hits, all that kind of stuff. And, I think the Rams will be able to get this fixed. But I do think that you have hit on a point, man. Like, Sean, like, the Rams were just not characteristically themselves. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was as much I think it was just a little bit of everything, like Devontae being gone, everything else just kind of around them.
The plane kind of breaking down, dudes getting sick, and then your little wide receiver want to have all of these. I don't know when these dudes going to realize that you are the star, not some influencer who talks about what you actually do. Just come on, man, get with it. The Packers, they were riding high a couple of weeks ago. Then Michael Parsons is gone for the year. We always feel bad about those injuries. And then Jordan Love got hit in the face the other day with a helmet, and then he goes out of the game. But before he left, they kept getting to the red zone and kept going for it and were missing. They were already doing some of the things that they've been characteristically doing all year anyway. So it gives pause to whether or not they can win it or not. Now that they're banged up, man, they're going to have to figure it out. Here's my man, Peter Bukowski, as he talks his way through it, and he does that real well. Check this out.
The Green Bay Packers had every opportunity to beat the Chicago Bears on Saturday night, and once again, they proved no one beats the Packers like the Packers. I'm Peter Bukowski, host of Locked On Packers, with 3 quick takeaways from a brutal 22-16 overtime loss to the Chicago Bears, and it starts with the loss of Jordan Love. This team battled its butt off with Malik Willis, and Matt LaFleur just seems to love calling the game with Malik Willis. The run game, he gets to call every weird, dirty run game in his playbook. And the Packers responded. They ran the ball in this game. 4.4 yards per click, 44 carries, 192 yards. They made it work. The problem was the red zone. After they had huge problems against the Denver Broncos in the red zone, they go 0-for-5 in the red zone. If they just go one more and score a touchdown instead of kick a field goal, or Josh Jacobs on first down doesn't fumble the ball inside the 5, the Packers probably win. And yet, all of that is true. They go 0-for-5. They still probably win this game if Romeo Doubs just catches the ball on the onside kick. Special teams dooms this team yet again. And I can't even blame Rich Bisaccia for this one. The ball goes right to Romeo Doubs. He's supposed to be one of your core pieces. You just got to catch the ball. And he couldn't do it.
Find a way to beat themselves. Green Bay's been doing it all year. I got a feeling that's going to carry over if they are able to get into the playoffs, and they're going to doom themselves in the playoffs too.
Listen, Peter.
Here we go.
Listen, Peter. I love Peter, man.
He's the best, man, ain't he? He's the best, dog.
But give the Bears their flowers, man. The Packers didn't beat themselves.
Wait, hold on. Do you know who you're talking to? That dude
I do know who I'm talking to. That's what I'm saying.
Like, come on, man. Nobody in that division, dog.
Even for you, even for Peter, and I love Peter. Peter's my guy. He knows that. So just for everybody who doesn't know, Peter's my guy, and I fully know what Peter's about. But bro, the Bears beat the Packers. Okay, did you see that throw by Caleb Williams at the end of that game? That catch to bring in, like that's an NFL catch, man. That Josh Jacobs fumble, like the Bear, perfect defense. First guy, wrap him up. Second guy, strip the ball. That's perfect defense. Like, that's the Chicago Bears defense executed. The Chicago Bears have a top 10 red zone defense. The Denver Broncos have a top 10 red zone defense. Let's not pretend like the Green Bay Packers red zone offense should just be bowling people over. Like, the Bears have a good red zone defense. They bend, they don't break. That's what they've been doing all season long. The onside kick thing, okay, I got you, but brother, like, that's the one play. That's the one play where you can say, like, lack of execution just simply on their part. But again, like, I mean, the special teams coordinator from Chicago would tell you, like, we targeted that dude. We put that ball in that exact place. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a reason onside kick plays are so fun to watch, even though they're rarely successful, is because of the what if factor. And that's when the what if factor came into play. I mean, I don't think that, you know, when Green Bay was recovering onside kicks against Seattle to win big games, I don't think Peter Bukowski was saying the Seahawks beat themselves against the Packers, right? So I'm just saying, bro, like, I see your point, but give the Bears their flowers. That being said, the Green Bay Packers have always been a team that underperforms. I mean, this is a team that had Hall of Fame quarterback play for 30 years in a row. No break. 30 years. And they won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
They won 2 Super Bowls. Do you know how many teams out there, like the Eli Manning-led Giants, would have won more? I mean, the Dallas Cowboys would have won. If you have Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre with the Dallas Cowboys, they'd have won more than 2 championships, I'm pretty sure. The Minnesota Vikings last year with Aaron Rodgers probably would have won a Super Bowl. Like, there's just, like, the Green Bay Packers have always been one of those teams that they're good, but you just kind of know, like, there's going to be a way to beat them. And yes, sometimes they're going to beat themselves, but, like, they've never been this terrifying team. Even in the years they've won the Super Bowl or coming out of a Super Bowl win, they've never been a juggernaut. They've always just been one of the bigger dudes in the park, but they've never been the biggest guy in the block, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to say about them. Other than they are a lot of fun to watch. I ain't gonna lie to you. And when Michael Parsons went down, I thought
that's the dagger. That's the one.
Having that great player kind of wipes away some of your transgressions.
Because don't forget, they also gave up Kenny Clark in the trade to get Micah. So they're out Kenny Clark, and now they're out Micah on top. And I know, like, I guess there was, like, they want to get rid of Kenny Clark anyway, but whatever. He's a big dude in the defensive line. So yeah, I mean, I think the Packers are toast as far as, like, Super Bowl contenders are concerned. But again, once you get to the tournament, man, anything can happen. So
anything can happen. Something that won't happen is the Ravens making the playoffs. I think that is, it's over. Why and what do they have to do and moving forward? How is it going to affect what they decide to do? We'll discuss that in just a second here on Locked On NFL. Thank you. All right, rolling along here, third and final segment. David and I will be all up in your face tomorrow on Christmas Day too, doing a show tomorrow. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that one too, man. Talk about what I'll call it Santa's slate, the slate of games tomorrow. But we're also we might try to give out some awards tomorrow. So make sure you tap in on Christmas Day for us to do that show. Right now, we're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens. What happened? They were everybody's favorite in the AFC to possibly go to the Super Bowl. It did not happen. Not only did it not happen, they kind of became a comedy of errors week in and week out. And I think Kevin Oestreicher, my co-host here on Tuesday, he's had enough of it. When you hear him talk, you're going to realize exactly what I'm talking about. Here's KO.
Baltimore has managed to be the laughingstock of the NFL 3 different times in one season. Like, in fully recovering from that image and then going back to it 3 times in one season, which is, again, genuinely impressive to me. You started off as the laughingstock of the league at 1-5. You know, everybody was laughing at you. Oh, this team was supposed to be so great, but they're terrible. The defense is awful. Like this, that, and the other. And then you recovered from that once you went on your run after the bye week, and everyone's like, okay, hey, the Ravens are back. And then they lost those 2 divisional games to Cincinnati in prime time, as well as to Pittsburgh. And everyone's like, oh, okay. And then Daniel Falele got a lot of national media attention, and everybody's laughing at him and the Ravens offense. And, oh, Lamar's not playing great, and everybody wants to make fun of Lamar, which I thought was ridiculous. But, regardless, that's what happened. And then they beat the Bengals. Everyone's like, oh, Ravens just shut out the Bengals on the Bengals home field. This team, you got to watch out. And then they blow a double-digit fourth quarter lead to New England with their season on the line. And all of a sudden, John Harbaugh is now the laughingstock. The Ravens are the laughingstock again. It's embarrassing.
All right, what do you do if you're Baltimore? I'm gonna make you a GM here for two teams, Baltimore, and then we'll slide down the Beltway your way and tell me what you want Washington to do. But Baltimore first, man. That's the hard one because they've been a model of consistency for 2 decades, and now it just seems like nothing that they do. They keep fumbling away opportunities. Their best players are fumbling the ball over and over again. What do you do?
I mean, look, the Baltimore Ravens have been consistently one thing for years. Good enough to get to the dance, not good enough to be the last team standing. That's who the Baltimore Ravens are. So if you ask me as a media member pretending to be a general manager, what do? I blow it up. I move on from Harbaugh. I thank you. I tell you, you'll be in my Ring of Fame, Ring of Honor, whatever they call it in Baltimore someday. Thank you for your service. We're going in a different direction. I'm going to go hire Kubiak. I'm going to bring him in. I'm going to get a new GM. I'm going to trade Lamar Jackson. I'm going to blow up everything. Because here's the thing, Wig. Here's the thing. The reason Baltimore is in the situation they are is they don't have any killers on their team. And I love Lamar Jackson. So before Kevin Osterhager comes at me crazy saying I'm just another Lamar Jackson hater, I love Lamar Jackson. I do. And I've watched a lot of Lamar Jackson football. Kevin has watched more, but there's no denying that in the moments where it's time for Lamar Jackson to become Tupac and get pushed enough to become that killer, he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. He's not a killer quarterback. He's just not that guy. He's 3-4 in the postseason. And I know people hate talking about postseason records, but damn it, he's 3-4 in the postseason. One time that team has been to the AFC Championship game and they blew it. You know what I mean? And now you're in this situation where, look, quarterbacks are only getting older. And let's be honest, too, Lamar Jackson is a quarterback that needs his athleticism. He's not a quarterback that is better because of his athleticism. He needs his athleticism. So the older he gets, the more likely he is to get injured. The more injured he gets, the less likely he is to remain athletic. We've seen this song and dance before, and you're not there yet, but you're getting there. On top of it, you got an offensive coordinator that for some reason forgets that he's got Derrick Henry in his back pocket in some of the key moments. The Baltimore Ravens can move the ball. They move the ball between the 20s. But wait, they got the 30th ranked red zone offense with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. Like it's ridiculous. Some of it is scheme, but also, man, like but you can't just put it on Todd Monken because I've watched Lamar in the play. I've watched all 7 of those playoff games. And sometimes he comes through. Sometimes it's the defense that comes through more than the offense. Let's be real. But a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times when it comes time for Lamar Jackson to become a killer, he can't do it. He just can't do it. Now, what are the Ravens going to do? You're insane if you trade Lamar Jackson. And you may not even fire Harbaugh. Like, again, it's one thing as a media member to sit here and be like, blow it up. You're never going to get over the hump. But it's hard for me to really say that I believe the Ravens will ever get over the hump with Lamar Jackson and especially with Todd Monken, but with Lamar Jackson. And I don't know if they'll ever get over the hump with Harbaugh in this current iteration. It's just too hard. And again, we've said this before, you got to have a killer defense or a killer quarterback. You don't have that defense, and I'm sorry, but after years and years and years of watching Lamar have the opportunity, he's not a killer quarterback. He's not that dude.
There's one thing about him I wish he would change. I wish he would be the quarterback that admonished his teammates more than he would throwing his helmet in disgust at his offensive coordinator. Yeah. Sometimes it ain't your buddies, man. Sometimes it's your friends. It's those dudes. It's not the dude that's holding you and your friends back. And I know I might be from the outside looking in thinking that's what happens. But clearly to me, it seems like every time he's frustrated at a play call. And if he isn't frustrated at a play call, then he needs, instead of throwing his helmet, he needs to go up to the player that he is pissed off at and talk to them. And I think that little bit of leadership would help along the way. Real quick, you're close to it in Washington. You're there every day. Mm-hmm. You commute every single day to practice, and I applaud you for it. I always joke with you about it and tell you don't sit and eat fast food on the road and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. But listen, Washington made a bunch of mistakes last year in the offseason. Give us 2 good minutes on what they should do this offseason that's different from last offseason.
Yeah, by the way, Ashburn Chick-fil-A loves me. Ashburn, Virginia Chick-fil-A knows me well. But, I think with the Washington Commanders, the mistake the Washington Commanders made first and foremost is they try to keep one foot in 2 different pools. They try to build for the future by drafting a rookie offensive tackle to develop, and Josh Connolly looks like he's going to be a very good addition to this team for a very long time. But they also try to go all in with the other foot, bringing in Laramie Tunsil, bringing in Deebo Samuel. I think you have to figure out who you are, where you are realistically, not where you are in the record books, and go with that approach. If you're going to build this thing through the draft with young players, build it. Be patient. It will come. If you're going to go all in, F them picks, F that cap space, and go get some dogs and come win a championship. But you can't do both at the same time.
Yep. I totally agree with you. You got to figure out that path, your path here on Locked On NFL. We figured it out for you, man. You know what? Join the Everydayers Club. You get for $5 a month, man, access to our merchandise, and then you get ad-free episodes of your favorite Locked On shows. It's right down in the description of whatever show that you look at. You can click on it and make sure you get good merch out of our merch store and all of that stuff, man, if you're at Everydayers. It doesn't change your coverage or what you get from us here because it is still your team every day. I want y'all to have a Merry Christmas. Dave and I will be right back with you tomorrow with a Christmas show where we're going to go into Santa's slate, if you will, talk about the games that are going to be played, and then give some end-of-year awards out as well. We don't take y'all for granted, man. We absolutely appreciate you guys joining us here each and every day, making us your first listen. Thanks again for Locked On NFL and for you joining us. We'll see you next time.